I want to say, first of all, shout out to Ticket TV, man, for the stream he put out, man, this morning. And I wasn't even aware. I wasn't even aware that Boston Celtics only gave that guy a 2-year ban, man, for calling DeMarcus Cousins a nigger. And in fact, it's really not even 2 years because it's just the rest of this season. I guess from when the incident occurred, I think it was January 26th. I read for the rest of this season, and then the 2019-20 season. So starting in the 2021 season, he can start attending games at TD Garden again and start and resume his racial assault, his verbal racial assault against NBA players again. You know what I'm saying? And what really disgusts me even more, Ticket, I got to give you props 1,000% on this shit, man. I searched YouTube, right? After I listened to Ticket's live stream, and I did a search to see who was talking about this. Two YouTubers popped up. Two YouTubers pop up, and no major sports entities popped up. No ESPN, no Fox Sports One, none of the big independent sports channels. Nobody was talking about this. I've watched uh, Undisputed. I haven't seen him talk about it yet. I watched First Things First. I didn't hear anything about this. Nothing. Because they're cowardice. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to criticize what Boston did. They only want to talk about it. It's not going far enough. It's not going far enough by a long shot. Okay? It's not. A 1.5 year ban for that fan is a disgrace and an insult. Okay? Because I'm be honest with you. What if DeMarcus Cousins was caught on camera retaliating by calling that fan a racial term? You know what I'm saying? Another thing that kills me in this situation is in all of these situations, it's the NBA player who generally in their 20s, right? Generally in their 20s. Some of them in their 30s, of course. They're all young men. Yet the expectations of wisdom and judgment is on them versus a fan in the stands who's probably in his late 30s, 40s, into his 50s. Remember the guy that threw the fuck you sign to Russell Westbrook in Philadelphia? He was a doctor. A doctor. But yet, in the media, he was reduced to an idiot fan. See, the cloak of responsibility is never judged toward them, or given to them. The cloak of responsibility is given toward us. You know what I'm saying? And in reality, I look at that as when they give us the cloak of responsibility and talking points and criticizing us. Basically, what they're trying to say is we're not responsible. We don't make good judgments, and this is just hitting that criticism by, you know, cleverly disguising it as, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. Let me tell you something. In reality, what DeMarcus Cousins should have done, what he should have done is go into the stands and slap the shit out of that fan. And then came back down and continued to bust that team's ass. That's what he should have did. It's mighty funny, man. how the Utah Jazz organization got it right. Okay, they didn't want to have the Utah Jazz. They didn't want to have that image of being an intolerant and just downright bigoted organization. They banned that fan and his wife for life. All right, Boston dropped the ball on this, but given their history, it's not surprising. And it's funny because Utah, politically, very Republican state, very far right state, has not voted on a national level for a Democratic candidate since Lyndon Johnson, 1964. All right, generally votes between 65 to 75% Republican in presidential elections. All right, compare that to Boston, which is in Massachusetts, generally seen as a what? Liberal state. On a national level, has not voted Republican since 1984, the 49 state Reagan landslide. But yet, which one of these states has the sordid racial history? That's why I always say Democrats are not our friends. They just approach us differently. Look at the busing incidents that happened with Boston uh, residents and the black counterparts in the 1970s. And then if you want to just keep it sports, and of course they had the riots in the Boston area. But keep it just sports. Bill Russell, the greatest winner in the history of sports, the greatest winner, 11 championships in 13 seasons. All right, 12 NBA final appearances. Okay, 12 NBA final appearances in 13 seasons. If I'm not mistaken, if it were not for Bob Pettit's 50-point game in Game 7 of the 1958 NBA Finals, I think it was Game 7, Bill Russell would have 12 NBA championships. Bill Russell went through hell, especially the earlier years of his career at the Boston Celtics. People yelling absolutely disgusting things at him, even at Boston. All right? Even at the Boston Garden, they were yelling horrible things at him. At home, could you imagine what they were saying to him on the road? People burning crosses on his yard. People, intruders, breaking into his home, defecating in his bedroom. Hate mail delivered on an almost daily basis. To go through all of that. Remember, these guys weren't quote unquote pampered athletes, did. I think Bill Russell's contract was for $100,001, which is good money, but he wasn't a millionaire. But when I interact with most Boston Celtic fans, all they talk about is Larry Bird. And I love Larry Bird. But Boston has a fucked up history, man. They really do. They have a really fucked up history. And that's why I can understand why a lot of the older cats hated Boston. I'm talking about like black sports fans. Couldn't stand Boston. The NBA and the Boston Celtics organization need to get this one right, man. They need to get this right because they've really dropped the ball on this. You're giving this guy a slap on the wrist, a terrible slap on the wrist. There needs to be a no tolerance policy on using that word, a no tolerance policy on using that word. This is why a lot of black men we're getting fed up with how we're treated in society. We're like literally human punching bags. Cops get to shoot us, and get away with it. Fuck even cops. Citizens get to shoot us, pretending to be cops, and get away with it. Everyone always is up in arms about OJ. At least OJ was punished. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, he was punished Okay? That was their way of getting around double jeopardy. Meanwhile, George Zimmerman walks. You have a chick admitting on tape that she drugged black men and robbed them. Where is the Me He movement for that? Where is the Me Too movement in response to that? They could care less because nobody gives a fuck about black men. Nobody gives a fuck about black men. Shit, to be honest with you, to be 100 about it, a lot of black men don't even give a fuck about other black men. Let's just keep it 100. DeMarcus Cousins even admitted that he's gone to the league office and has told them that numerous times. This isn't the first time he's been called a nigger. He's been called a nigger several times, and that would explain some of his quote unquote outbursts to fans. He said he would explain that to league office, and they would still uh, fine him and ban him or suspend him. So we're expected to sit there and be weak and let someone call us that derogatory, horrible, inflammatory word. Yet, at the same time, you can never, ever, ever say anything that is remotely critical of Jews in this country, or there will be repercussions. You will be censured, you will be fired, you will be fined, and you will forever be linked to that supposed slur, like Jesse Jackson is the Jaime Town. But in closing, there needs to be something done about this. That fan needs to be banned for life. And any other subsequent incident involving a fan who's been proven to use that term, they need to be banned. There needs to be a crackdown on this behavior. They are being emboldened by the head idiot in charge. He's making them feel comfortable enough to use that word. This shit has to stop. And also, I want to say, and this is a point that Tiki was bringing up. This isn't directly linked to this, but I just want to say something. A lot of people will call me a LeBron James hater, right? But that incident that happened when LeBron James' home was spray painted, right? And Ticket said this. So props to Ticket TV for this. Where were all of his LeBron James fanboys then? Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them did make videos talking about that. But the same ones who will call me a hater for criticizing his game, when it came to talking about some real shit, you know what you heard? Cricket, 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 cricket. That's what you heard. And that situation separated the haters from the critics. LeBron James haters, they hate LeBron James personally. Those are the people that were saying shit like, "Oh, well, he did it himself just to get media attention. He did it himself just to get sympathy." Some of them were even racist. All right, somebody like me, I don't hate LeBron James. I may not like certain aspects of his game, but outside of the court, the guy is a good guy, and he's 10 times the person that Michael Jordan uh, is. So that's with that. But anyway, that fan needs to be banned. And if the Boston Celtics organization does nothing to rectify that situation, I hope Kyrie Irving leaves. All right? Kyrie Irving needs to leave that organization. I hope that they suck for years to come. And that's pretty much it, man. And if they do go far in the playoffs, I'm going to be honest with you. from this moment on, I'm rooting against them. Until that situation gets rectified, I'm rooting against Boston. I hope they lose in the first round. I hope they really tank totally. You know what I'm saying? Don't even make the playoffs. I think that's not possible right now, but I hope they just tank, man. I hope they lose 4-0 in the first round. Fuck Boston.